Hello everyone. As you can see, this is a two-room building. Room size of about 4 meter into 6 meter and 6 meter into 6 meter. And this is a table format for the detail estimate. Here you can see the item numbers, particulars of items, number of long walls and short walls. Length, breadth, and height, quantity, and explanatory note. So the first particular here we have to work out is the artwork in excavation in foundation. And before doing that, we have to find out the length of the long wall and short wall from the plan. See, this is the plan. We will point out the long walls and short walls. As you can clearly see, 4 and 6 makes 10, and that's the long wall. There are 2 long walls and 3 short walls. 1, 2, 3. So I think I have already discussed how to find out the length using the long wall and short wall method and the center line method as well. In both the methods, in the plan, you have to draw the center line of the plan. This plan you see here, this depicts a wall. This is suppose in the plan you see a wall having thickness of 30 centimeter. While calculating the length of long wall and short wall center to center, always consider half the thickness of the wall. So now as you can see, long wall center to center length will be 4 plus 6, 4 from the first room, 6 from the second room. Long walls, mind it, long walls. Plus there is a wall in the middle, separation wall, which touches both the long walls. That is why we are considering the full thickness, that is 0.30, that is 30 centimeter, plus half from both the sides. That is why plus 2 into 0.30 by 2 equals to 10.60 meter. And for short wall also, center to center length is equal to 6 plus 2 into 0.30 by 2 equals to 6.30 meter. So now the first particular is the artwork in excavation in foundation. Once for long wall and once for short wall. So see, while finding out the artwork in excavation, in the cross section we have to consider the height starting from the concrete in foundation to the ground level. So in total it gives 30 plus 20 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 20 gives you 100 centimeter. That will be 1.00 meter. And that breadths are also given in the cross section for each footings and the concrete in foundation as well. So in the table we will put the height as 1.00 meter both for long walls and short walls. Now is the time to calculate the length. So see, these are the long walls. So as you can see, we have already calculated the center to center length for both long walls and short walls. That means we already know the center to center length of the wall, and the remaining length will be the half of the breadth of the foundation. Means I am talking about the cross section, and similarly in this case also half the foundation breadth. We will consider half the foundation breadth. So this means in total it will give the same breadth that is mentioned in the cross section. That is why we add the breadth of the foundation with the long wall and deduct the breadth of the foundation with the short wall. See, that part is already taken by the long wall, so we have to deduct the part which is calculated twice. That is why we are calculating the breadth of the foundation. We are subtracting the breadth of the foundation from the short walls. That is, for short walls, length equals to the initial length from center to center minus breadth of the foundation will give you the length of the short wall. See in the table, we put the breadth from the cross section. Height is calculated from starting from the concrete foundation to the ground level. And there are 2 long walls and there are 3 short walls in the number section. Now after multiplying everything, we will get the quantity. Particular was the concreting foundation for long wall and short wall. So the concreting foundation only considered the concreting foundation part breadth and the height of that part only, that is 30 centimeter, 0.30. Otherwise, everything is same as that of the earthwork in excavation for concreting foundation as well. Now as we are talking about the third particular, that is the first class brickwork, we can clearly see there are 4 footings in this cross section, 4 footings and a plinth. The breadths are already given in the cross section, the heights are already given in the cross section as well. So as you already know, in the long wall and short wall method, we will every time we will consider the particulars, we will calculate the particulars, once for long wall and once for short wall. So here in this case also, everything, the breadth of the foundation in the footings and the height of the footings will be same, but we have to calculate once for long wall by adding the breadth of the foundation or the footings with the initial length of the long wall found out considering center to center, and again for short walls considering all the footings and the plinth, but in this case we'll have to deduct the breadth of the foundation or the breadth of the footings from the initial length of the short wall found out center to center. There may be a doubt why we are considering 0.80 meter for the plinth wall. That is because you can clearly see in the cross section that 20 and 60 is mentioned in the plinth. Just forget about the ground level, but the plinth has a height of 20, that is below the ground level it has height of 20 centimeter, and above the ground level it has height of 60 centimeter. It will give us 80 centimeter, that is 0.80 meter. So you see, every time for each and every particular, when we calculate the length, we will always consider the initial length for the long walls that was found out first, considering the center to center, and the breadth of the footings or the breadth of the plinth or breadth of the foundation or breadth of the door, considering which particular we are calculating. Okay. Every time in the number section, if we are having 2 walls, we will always write 2 in case of footings, first footing, second footing, third footing, fourth footing, or plinth wall. And in case of short wall also, as we know there are 3 short walls, so in each and every footings and the plinth, in the number section we will put 3 only. So you know how to find out the quantity also. Just multiply the number, length, breadth and height, that will give us the total quantity. And in case of short walls, as you can see, they are using, while calculating the length, they are using the initial length which was found out considering center to center for short walls, that was 6.30. Okay, 6.30, and deducting the breadth of the footings following from first footing to the fourth footing and the plinth level. So clear? Just remember, we always add the breadth of the foundation with the long wall and subtract the breadth of the foundation with the short wall. That's because the long wall considers the foundation altogether, and to avoid calculating twice for the short wall, we deduct the breadth of the foundation. So after adding all the quantities, we will get the total quantity. Okay. So now the fourth particular is the damp proof course, and each and every time you will see in the damp proof course, they will always mention 2.5 centimeter thickness center to center. And the DPC doesn't have a definite height, so in the DPC we will not consider any height, and as the DPC lies above the plinth, so we will consider the plinth breadth from the cross section And as for long wall, you know there are 2 long walls, and as for short walls, you know there are 3 short walls. And the calculation will look like this. Okay? Will be same. The calculation will be same as that of plinth. That is because both the dam-proof course and the plinth are using the same breadth from the cross section, that is 0.40 meter, and the calculation will be same. That's because we only add the breadth while finding out, add or subtract the breadth while finding out the length of the long wall and short wall. And there will be no height for the dam-proof course, so the unit will be in square meters. And as you know, for long wall and short wall, there are 2 long walls and 3 short walls. And one more thing, in dam-proof course we have to deduct the door sills. So go to the plan, you will see there are only 2 doors in the plan. So in the number section we will write 2, because there are only 2 doors in the plan. And the width and the height of the door is already given. As you can see, the doors having the width of 1.20 meter and a height of 2.10 meter. So okay. Now as we are talking about DPC and door sills only, there are no mentioning of height in DPC. We don't have to consider the door height while calculating it for the DPC. Now see, using the same breadth as that of the DPC, we will get a quantity like this, and this quantity will be deducted from the quantity of the dam-proof course, which will give us 14.92 square meter. So now we are talking about the particular first class brickwork in superstructure. That means the DPC is calculated, and up to the DPC, these components lies in the substructure of a building. And so when superstructure starts, that means walls starts. Okay, in superstructure there are walls, doors, parapets and roofs. Okay, now for the length calculation, again use the initial length center to center, that is 10.60 for long wall and 6.30 for short wall. And again, of course, we have to add the breadth of the superstructure with the long wall, and we have to deduct the breadth of the superstructure with the short wall. And you can see there is a height of about 4.20 meter for a superstructure, so that will be directly considered in the height section. This breadth of the superstructure is the thickness of the walls in the plan. Okay, the plan you are seeing are these walls. Now we will find out the quantity, and we can add up the quantity to get the total quantity. Now in case of superstructure, we have to deduct a lot of things, as in the problem itself it's mentioned there are shelves, there are windows and there are doors. Okay, so you can see there are 4 windows here, 2 shelves and 2 doors. Okay, so in the number section, for door openings we will write 2 doors, for window openings we will write 4 windows, and for shelves we will write 2, as there are 2 shelves. So now we have to consider both the width and the height. That is given already, the width and the height. The smaller one will always be considered as width, and the larger one will always be considered as the height of the door or window. But in case of ventilators, the smaller one is considered as the height and the larger one is considered as the breadth. So similarly, the dimensions of all the openings are given, and for shelves also. But in case of the shelf breadth, there is a difference. Why, you know? See, the wall has a thickness of 30 centimeter. But while in case of shelves, because this deduction is only for this depth, not for the full wall thickness, we are taking this as 20 centimeter thickness, and the remaining is the 10 centimeter. So we are deducting only up to the 20 centimeter for the shelves. Okay, that is why we are considering 0.20 meter in the breadth section. So now, after finding out the quantities, lintel over doors, lintel over windows, lintel over shelves. So these will be deducted from that. because lintel will be placed in all the openings above that, so we have to reduce that lintel works, and the numbers will be same as that of the openings. There will be 2 for doors, 4 for windows, and 2 for shelves. It is mentioned in the question itself that there is a bearing of 15 centimeter. You can see here all the walls are of same section. Lintels of our doors, windows, and shelves are 15 centimeter thick RB. That is, RB means reinforced beam. Because the lintels will be provided in the openings, that means in the doors, windows, or shelves. So we have to add 15 centimeter bearing in both the sides in all the openings. That is, as you can see the widths, we know the width of the door, that is 1.20, but we'll have to add 15 centimeter on both sides, that is 0.30 meter on both sides. So adding up 0.30 with all the widths of doors, windows, and open shelves, we will get 1.50, adding 0.30 with 1.20 meter, then 1.30 adding 0.30 meter with the window, and 1.30 meter again adding 0.30 with the shelves. We already know the thickness, that is 15 centimeter. So the height will be, in the high section we will put 0.15 meter as it is already mentioned in the question. Now multiplying everything, we will get the quantity, and after getting the quantity we will add, of course, starting from the door openings, window openings, shelves, and the lintels. Adding up everything, we will deduct that with the quantity of the first class brickwork in superstructure, and rest, that will be the quantity, total quantity of the brickwork in superstructure. So see, there are two differences here that you should keep in mind. In case of shelves, we don't consider the full width of the wall, but in the opening. But in case of lintel, the self calculation considers full width of the wall. Meaning of the quantities in this table, if you have to do the rate of analysis table, you have to mention the same particulars that has been provided in the question, and we will use the quantities for each and every particulars, and we will multiply that with the rate that will be given to us, and it will give us the actual cost.